which contains different variables. I have taken this data set from the Kaggle platform, as I'm displaying it on your screen right now. This is the original source of data. And in this, you will see we have different variables. Here you will see on Kaggle, we generally find different types of data set. So whenever you have to implement some data science-based practices, we just need some data file. And when we are working as a beginner, you need those data files in some structured format that can be better managed with an Excel file, or we can call precisely a CSV file that we preferably access for data science. So we are going to do some basic analysis, and you need not to worry that this will be a very high-end project that we are dealing with. This will include some basic techniques that you need to learn for data science. And in today's project, we'll just do cleaning of a data set. We'll just take it from the scratch, and then we'll see what cleaning is required in this data set. So this will be an interesting project for all of you, definitely, and you will learn several new things in this project. So first of all, going to this Google Colab platform, as we are using it every day, and now you are friendly with it. I have renamed it with this electric cars data cleaning. You can give any name to your project here so that it gets saved in your drive with the same name. Now, the first most task we have to do is to get your data set on the sheet here. So you all will do the same process as we have done in the previous day also. We just have to click on the files here, and we'll wait for a second, and this sample data is ready here. After that, you can just drag and drop your data set here, the data set that you have downloaded from the drive folder shared in your chat. So that you can use from here, or the second option is you can click on upload button here, and then it will again take you to the folders wherever you have placed your data set. So in my case, the data set is right here on my desktop. So I can just bring it here by clicking on upload option. And now you can see the data set is ready here. So just quickly confirm me if you all have your data set in this sidebar right now. Then I'll start with the first step, and you all need to I can see only one response by now. Make sure you all respond by clicking on everyone in two, so that I can also see your responses. In between, I may ask any of you to share your screen just to see the progress on your screen. So when you are implementing it side by side, just be careful whatever you are doing. I may need to check it anytime in between. So I may ask you to share your screen in between. Okay, so I can see only one response who is implementing. Okay, Sarthak, thank you for responding. And the next thing we have to do here is, first task I'm adding is load data using pandas that we have done yesterday also. And the process is very simple. You already know it. We have done it several times by now. So import pandas as PD. Yesterday also we learned this syntax. And now we will just load your data set, and I'm using a data variable for this. And how we read PD dot read underscore CSV, and within brackets, you have to put address of your data file. And how we get that address? Just go to your data file, click on these 3 dots, and then copy your path. Everyone follow the same step. Just go to your data file that you have just uploaded here, click on 3 dots here, and then copy path. And now you can insert it here. So this will bring your data to this data variable instantly. And now we can just see first few lines of this data. This command also we have seen yesterday, and it will just help you to display first 5 lines of data. So we can see the output here. This is your data set right now. And we can just observe that there are so many variables, and these variables basically include some information about electric cars. And we can say like this is associated with all different features of electric cars. So these features here include variety of variables such as acceleration, top speed of your vehicle, range, efficiency, drive, and many other things. And last 2 variables you can see, they include price of that respective vehicle in Germany as well as price in UK. So there are 2 price variables also. And before we do any kind of data analysis process or data cleaning process, the first thing is to check if your data set can be processed on numerical grounds or categorical grounds. So we just need to observe all your variables. As I have discussed about different types of data in yesterday's class also, can anybody quickly respond in the chat box that do you find here totally numerical variable? Any variable which is completely numerical variable. Just respond in the chat box from all these columns, which one you find is a complete numerical variable. I'm looking forward for the answers in chat box. Okay. I get mixed responses. So everyone just quickly update in the chat box. Whatever you understand, just don't worry whether it is right or wrong, just try. The main point is to try whatever we are learning, you just experiment with it. So I got responses here, and if we just look after this, currently only this number of seats, this variable shows totally numerical input. All remaining have mixture of numerical and categorical information. Categorical in the sense we can say string-based information mainly. So there is some string-based data in all remaining variables. Only this number of seats variable has total numerical input that we can say. So based on this, what we can say is generally when you have to train a machine or you have to train a computer to do some task, we need a numerical input for that instead of a mixture of string element. So that is why we need to clean the data set. So these values, which are in the form of some string information, such as units of these different measurements, we need to clean them first of all, so that we get only these numerical values in the data set. That will always be the first step whenever you try to process a new data. So in this project, what we'll learn is how you can remove these string values from this data and only numerical values are left behind in the sheet. So that part we are going to learn. So we'll do step-by-step different procedures. First of all, we'll do just few basic steps. First step is you will share the code in the chat now. What we have to check here, I need to check number of rows and columns in dataset. Anybody who have idea which syntax we have used yesterday for this? To check number of rows and columns in dataset, if you remember. There was a very simple syntax that we have used. Any idea, whatever we can use for checking total number of rows and columns in your dataset? Any update? Okay, let me try this. So we have data variable, and here we need shape that will provide you information about number of rows and columns in this data set. So this is a very small data set with only 180 rows and 11 columns. This is our first observation from your data. And let me just share all these codes one by one in Snipper as well, so that you can follow the same process. So you can take these codes from the Snipper as well to follow the same executions. Now you have just seen the number of rows and columns in this data. One more thing we can do is check initial information about this data. So this command we have used earlier as well. Here you can just see we have different variables. It shows total 180 rows, 11 columns, the name of every column. So these are the names of your column that we have already seen. Here we can see data type, and you can see since we have most of the integer, most of the string value, so it says object. Object is the data type for string in Python. And as I told you, there was only one with complete numerical details that is represented as an int here. We don't have float values in that, so it is represented as int over here. And remaining all columns we have as object entries. We'll just try to convert them into numbers so that they can be represented as int or float data type. So that is our task right now. And we can see that there are no missing values. The middle row column says that there are no missing values because this is the total count, and in all your columns the count is same. Yes, in the last two we can see some missing values. You can see these are less than 180, so there may be some missing values in last two columns. So let us observe them more carefully. So we say check missing values in data. And in order to do this, what we can try is data.isna.sum. This technique will help you to get sum of missing values in each column. So I'm just running this and see, all these have 0 missing values, but here we have 12 and 44 missing values. Means some empty blocks in these columns are present. So I'm sharing this code also in the chat window in your Snipper, and you can take it from here. Just confirm me if you all are able to execute it up to this point. And if there is any confusion, you can just update me in the chat box. Everyone be responsive. Okay, great. If anyone is stuck anywhere, please let me know so that I can help you. because you are here to learn something. This is not just about listening and then leaving everything on the session itself and nothing in your mind. So just try to be responsive and interactive in the sessions. So now we have one observation that we need to deal with these missing values. That is the first thing to do. Now what we have is, we have seen that these columns have object entries. So when we talk about missing value removal, although there will be a huge concept that we'll be reading in the coming sessions also, because we're doing different projects for this, and we will see how we deal with missing values. But for this first session, since this is very beginner level session, I'll not go in detail with missing values. But one thing we have here is, generally we apply some statistical approaches for missing value handling. But these entries are in object format right now. So it is difficult to implement a statistical operation on these columns. If they were in int or float, we could implement statistical operation. Statistical operation means mean, median, mode, etc. calculations we cannot execute on these columns right now. So I'll be using one simplified approach for dealing with these missing values right now, because this is just a raw project we are handling here. And then when we'll be doing different further data analysis, there I'll also tell you that what is the statistical approach to deal with missing values. So what I'm writing here, well, missing values with 0. This is the direct technique we are applying right now. Since we have limited number of missing values, I'll just replace them with 0 over here, because we cannot just apply a statistical approach right now on object variables. So what I'll do here simply, data.fillNA. This fillNA operation will fill all the null values with 0. So I'm using this 0 also as an object entry here, because we just need the same format right now for further processing. So I'm using it with 0 value simply here. And then we can again test the update in your data set. Filling null values with 0. This is the task. Filling missing values with 0 using fillNA operation. We'll use this in different forms later on, but currently just filling it with missing values. So now you can see the missing values are gone. Means earlier we were having here these NaN values. You can see this NaN. This represents your missing value mainly. So there were many such values, but now they are replaced with 0. So they will not be considered as missing values any further. So I'm sharing this code also in the snipper, and you can execute this. And just quickly let me know if you are ready with this clean version of your data set. Step 1 of cleaning we have executed right now. If you do not respond in the chat box, I may ask you to share your screen anytime in between, just so that I can see what you are implementing. So if you just don't want to share your screen, it's better to respond in the chat box and answer my questions, whatever I'm asking in between. I could see only one response by now. Okay, great. So now I can see more. So after this, now we will start with the cleaning. Currently, we have just removed the missing value issue here. And now we'll start cleaning those object entries in different columns. So let us do cleaning of object entries, or the string values, we can say. And for this, first we need to observe that what we have in these entries. So just for a quick information, let us try one or two different variables we will see here. For example, I'll pick up this price in UK variable from the data, and I'll see here value counts, just a random approach I'm using here. Generally, we use value counts for your categorical variables. Okay, so it says price in UK. Oh, I added a random space here in between. So we are just testing it with this thing. So what you can see here, that we have this euro symbol here that we need to deal with in every entry. In majority of entries, you will see this symbol that we need to deal with. And second thing, we have this comma in between. When we are processing numbers in your machine learning or data science, this comma is not required. We need complete number sequences. So we just need to remove this comma also. This observation from the last column we can see, price in UK column. Two things we have to remove, this currency symbol and this comma in between, so that we can have exact number in the list. Then we may check another here so that we can just identify things that are required to be removed. So price in Germany, and here also the same problem, your sign of currency as well as this comma, both things we require to deal with. And we can check it with the number of seats also. But number of seats, I think this will provide you clean data because this was totally integer value. So we need not to worry. You can see it can clearly identify that, okay, we have 4 types of vehicle where we have 5-seater, 7-seater, 4-seater, and 2-seater vehicle. So that data is clean. Then drive type, this is a totally categorical variable. So this also we can see here clearly. We have 3 different types of vehicles in your data set. Front wheel drive, all wheel drive, and rear wheel drive, where majority of entries belong to front wheel drive. Second, we have all wheel drive, and least entries we have with rear wheel drive. So these are different types of electric cars that we can see in data set. So we can just have a quick observation of value counts for this. Similarly, you can check it for some other variable like fast charge speed we can have here. And I can just insert it here. Now you can see this kilometer per hour is unwanted. We need just this number 440 or 250. So we can remove this part. So in the similar manner, you can test it with all these variables. Some of these may have a huge number of random entries in between, such as I can test this subtitle. And you can see this entire thing is unwanted, including the space. We may need to remove this along with this portion. So unit as well as this portion in your data set we need to remove. And you can observe it in your data file also. Here you can see we have the entries for this subtitle column, and there we have this battery electric vehicle entered everywhere. And the space is not visible here, but still we can see that with that operation below that yes, there is some random space also that we need to remove. So that will not be useful otherwise. So we can just remove that space as well. And also in this fast charge speed, you can see a dash also here. So this must be also a missing value, but they have written a dash here. So it was not visible in your missing value. So we may also need to deal with this dash. So in the similar manner, you need to observe your entire data set so that we can apply cleaning procedures on this, because every variable right now need a different cleaning procedure. So accordingly, we may have to apply the procedure one by one. So let us start with all variables one by one. The cleaning process will start further. Just let me know if you have understood the procedure or the idea for cleaning, that what we are trying to do right now. If that is clear, then I'll start cleaning each column one by one. Quickly respond me in the chat box. Okay, great. So now we have come to the important step of cleaning categorical variables, and I'll be choosing every variable one by one. So see here what we are going to do. First code I'll be writing, then slowly I'll be looking forward for your responses in each code. For the first column I'm writing here. So probably I'll start from here, from price in UK. I'm starting with, and I'm writing it here, equal to, first I'm declaring one empty column. See, when we are working on Python or data science, there are unlimited ways to do one task. You can follow multiple approaches. I'm just using one idea here. Maybe later on you would like to do this in some other way. So just one approach is here. So what we are doing here, I'll be writing one for loop. For loop we have already used. For loop will be executed on your price in UK variable right now, and will be iterating through its all rows that we have. And what will be getting in the output, I'll just update everything into int format, and inside this I'll just handle every item. There is a replace method, and what I need to replace. I'll explain this code in detail one by one. I'll be sharing the these syntaxes in your snipper. So just first understand what we are doing. So I need to replace the symbol first of all. That was your currency symbol. So I can take it from here, or you can just find it on your system as well. So I'm just taking it from the data sheet itself, and we can put it here. This is the first thing I need to replace, and I'll be replacing it with just an empty thing. Before comma, we'll write what we need to replace. After comma, we will write with what you want to replace. So I just want to remove it. So I'm writing here empty empty quotation marks. If you want to replace it with something meaningful, you can just write that. For example, if you want to replace with 0, you can write 0 inside. But I want just an empty space. I don't want any symbol over there. So I'm replacing it with the empty symbol over here. Similarly, second item I want to replace in the same data file is your comma. This comma again I want to replace with empty brackets. Sorry, these empty entries. So what we are doing here one by one. Okay, last line also I'll update first of all. So data that will be on the same level as that of your this for, and as we are working on price in UK column, so I'll be using this one just to save your executions now. So price in UK. Now check everything very carefully. I'm explaining it again, and then later on you can use the same with all remaining variables. First, we have price in UK. So this one we can see here with empty list I have created. We have learned that square brackets are used for creating list, and currently I'm creating an empty list that I can use for updation within for loop. So there is an empty list first of all. Then I'm iterating through your price in UK column in data. That is your last column in data. I'm iterating through that, and I'm just putting all the observations one by one in a variable named item. You can have any name for this variable. Maybe you can have row, you can have measurement, anything, any name you can give to this variable. This is just a variable. So one by one, I'm iterating through all the rows of this column and putting those entries in item one by one. So after this, I'm updating new values in price in UK variable. So one by one, they will be updated into the sequence here. So there will be a list again. And what that list is going to contain. So we are just actually updating this empty list now. But now what are we updating in this empty list? We need that all variables are in int format. First thing, whatever entries we make, they are in int format. So outside, I'm using an int function because we have seen that earlier they were appearing as object entries. So when I'm updating these empty spaces also, they may even create some object entries. So I need everything as int. So that I have done. Second, I need to make replacements in every item that I scan through in this price in UK. So that item I have listed here. And then I have applied my replace function over here. And in this replace function, I just marked the symbol that I want to replace with an empty thing. Again here, the comma I want to replace with an empty thing so that we can have a clean outcome for this price in UK variable. And ultimately, we are saving it as within your data file. This is your original data file where we need to save the outputs. So the list that we recently created with the for loop, I'm updating that into your original data file. So if I run this code, let us see what we get. Let me just check what error we may have. So it says length of values is 1, does not match with the length. Let me just verify if we have some mistake over here. Okay, we have not made an assignment here. So that is the problem. We need plus and equal to just to update this entry over here. So whatever changes we are making here, they will be automatically updated one by one into the list. So now this is working. As this is updated now, I can see this reflected in my data variable also. So let us see, let us have a quick observation if your last variable is now clean or not. So I'm just running data head again. And okay, so I can just see it with your normal data set. So check this, the last variable, we have clean entries now. The comma is removed as well as the currency symbol is removed. Just quickly let me know if the process of cleaning price in UK variable is clear to all of you now. We can see the clean entries. Earlier it was in this kind of format. Now we have in this format. Just quickly update me. Okay, great. I can see one response only. Everyone just be responsive. Okay, good. One more response I can see. Fine, great. So now you responded. So next, what we have is the same procedure that we have followed here. First, I'm sharing this code in your snippet so that you can follow the same. Now you have to clean this price in Germany column, and you will be sharing code in the chat box. I'll look for the code in the chat box, then only I'll execute the next code. Just follow the same process for price in Germany, and you just have to change the symbol in that and just see how you can clean the second column. Once it is running, this green mark once you have, do not run this cell again, otherwise you will get an error. Because this is already clean, and if you run this cell again, then it will give you an error because it will not find these symbols in the file now. So run only once. And now you just create a new coding cell below, and here start writing your code for price in Germany. I'll wait for 1-2 minutes and just quickly update me with the new code. Looking forward in chat for the new code. there will be very small changes you have to do in the existing code, and your new code will be ready for the second last column. If anyone finds anything confusing or anything they are not understanding, they can also let me know. Okay, can you, some of you just update me in the chat if you are doing it so that I can wait. At least confirm me that you need some time and you are trying it. Yes, sure, I can show the code. This one we have for the replacement. I have shared the same code in the snipper also. Anyone who is ready with the code? Okay, just confirm me if you need more time, if you are doing it, just at least let me know that if you are doing it and I need to wait. Yes, no, students, this is very bad if you are not responding. If I need to wait, then tell yes. If no, then tell no so that I can proceed ahead. I'm asking whether you are implementing or not. Okay, so those who are implementing, I'll be waiting again for a few minutes. You can share your code when it starts working. There is very minute change you have to do. There is no big change in the code that this one you have to follow exactly same, but just variables you have to change and symbol you have to change.
All of you, please reply in chat. Otherwise, we have to ask you to share your screen. Yes, Gurjeet Singh, unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Are you implementing and trying to share your code soon?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. I'll be waiting for you. Just do some hit and trial, students. This is an interesting thing to do. Data science is one of the most interesting thing to do. Python programming, I'm even teaching to 5th, 6th class students, and they are doing very well with it. You are grown-up students. This should be very easy for all of you. It just requires your focus and your intentions to do something. So very good. You have shared. Okay, Sarthak shared this code and I have just placed it here. Let us see if it works fine. First, we'll just observe what changes we have. So price in Germany name has been updated. Then we have data variable here updated. We have this one fine. This one looks good. This one also looks good. And the symbol also, I hope, has been updated. Earlier, we were having this sign, and now we have the second sign. So, okay, fine. This looks good. Let me run this one, and this works fine. So we can now see data head again. We'll just observe step by step that how it is affecting our data set. So thank you very much, Sarthak. This looks good. And let us see how our data set has been changed now. So everyone see this carefully. Now, both these columns look clean. We have got rid of your extra symbols and commas, etc. from last two columns. And this column was already clean. So this is also fine. So both three of the columns are in good position now. So let me share this code in the snipper also so that you can follow it from there. So I hope now all of you have got the idea that how you can make small changes in your code and it gets implemented in your new syntaxes. So after this, let us start cleaning one more column. So see this very carefully, everyone. These three we have already made a numerical one. Now this drive column is already in the form of total categorical, or we can say total object entry. This is not a mixture of your number entries. So we'll just leave this right now. We are not disturbing this column right now. I'll tell you how we'll deal with this later on. First, we need to deal with the mixture of string and numbers, and we'll just follow these remaining columns for this. This one we'll deal with later on with a specific approach. So we have this fast charge speed as your next entry. So I'll just pick up this name as it is. And what we have to change here is, one is the symbol, or we can say like precisely unit of this particular variable, and these dash symbols, because this have some dash symbols also that we can visualize here. Two things we have to deal with. So let me take it further. On the next step, we can have this is your next variable. And let me again create an empty list first of all for this fast charge speed. And now for item in the same coding sequence, I'm using data, but now the variable will be this one. We have to update it here, and variable name will be updated plus equal to. And first thing we have to do is convert it into int. Then we have item dot replace. And inside this, the first thing we need to deal with is your this symbol, or we can say unit of the measurement. So I'm just updating it here along with space. I'm updating it here. And then your empty quotes, so that we can just get rid of this entire portion. And similarly, we can have second replacement, that is for your unwanted dash. And because this unwanted dash, see this carefully, this unwanted dash in this particular column is basically a missing value, but they have just written a dash over here, like not applicable or that kind of thing. So we can just replace it with a 0 right now, just to get your entry with the missing value problem. We are just replacing it with 0 right now. And then we can return to your data variable updates again. And here, first of all, we need to write your variable name that need to update from the data file equal to the variable name that we have used to update your list. These two things. Let us re-verify our code and then we'll execute it. First, we have created an empty list for the variable name that we are dealing with. Then we started with a for loop. And in this for loop, we are just iterating through all rows of this particular column in your data. Then we are just trying to update this list with these replaced values. And outside, I have used int function just to ensure that outcomes are in the form of int in your list. And then items that we are replacing here include first unit of your variable and then one dash sign. Unit we are replacing with empty sign, or we can say like nothing we need to have instead of unit. And then dash we are replacing with 0 because they are a kind of missing values that we need to fill with 0 right now. So let us run this part. And this looks fine. We got the green tick in front of your this column. And let us see. We can see the data head again. So I'm just updating it here, and we can see data head for the next column here. And you can see fast charge speed with total numerical values right now. Earlier, it was in this format. We were having this thing. But now we have the cleaner version, all numerical entries. So I'm sharing this code also in the snippet. You can find it from there. And now this is your task to work on the next column. Next column will be done by you again. So we'll choose next column from here. This efficiency is your next column. And this should be simplified. You just need to replace only one thing. These one small space with the unit of this efficiency. So this thing after the number you have to replace. Listen carefully. One more task for all of you. Write your code to replace this unit in your efficiency column. So I'll look forward for your code for this particular column. And I have also displayed it here so that if you are not getting it in the snippet, then also you can follow it from here. Some small changes only you have to make in your code, and I'll just wait for your answer in the chat. Working on efficiency column. This looks great, Sarthak. Thank you for updating your code. And let me just test it. So I just hope that all of you are trying it. I just need responses in the chat box. If any of you just try it, that will be just a good thing about this session, that yes, you are implementing it side by side, and this is going to be useful in the long run. So what you have done here is, first you choose your efficiency column and you created an empty list, looks fine. Then you have applied your for loop, and then you have updated a replacement content for this, and we have to replace only one thing. So this looks fine. So let me just run this part. Great. We have no error. And let us see if we have clean efficiency column or not. So this looks very fine. Great, Sarthak, you have done it well, and we can have a clean column now. So let us switch to the next column, and I hope you can do it easily as well. It is in the same format. We can see this range column. Everyone just try to run it with the range column. Let me share this one also in the snipper so you can follow it from here. Just be competitive, everyone. You all need to participate in this. We are just using an entertaining task here. This is a great thing to collaborate with, and you can just try different techniques out there. Okay, so I'm just picking some names from the chat window right now. You just need to respond me what you are trying right now. Okay. Rajat Mana, just tell me what you are doing right now, what code you have written, whatever portion you have written, just share it quickly in the chat. Rajat, I'm looking forward for your response.
Rajat, unmute yourself and speak. Rajat, are you able to listen?
If you don't want to unmute yourself, at least update in chat. Whatever you are trying, whatever portion of code you have written for this task, just update that in chat.
Are you working? Tushar, unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Are you working?
No, sir. Sir, अभी join हुआ था मैं. मेरे नेट प्रॉब्लम हो रही थी आज.
Okay, anyone who is ready with the code? Great, Sarthak. Thank you for updating. Let me check this one. Students, this gets interesting when you take part in this task. Then only we can get benefited with whatever we are doing. So this actually brings happiness to the one who is teaching that, okay, students are getting it and they are implementing it. That is the one reason we are doing this. Otherwise, we are not here for some storytelling class and that one person has to say and other have to listen only. So, okay, I can see one code from the Sarthak here and it looks really fine. So let me just run this directly and we can see the green tick mark. And let me check it with the data again. Great. So the range column is also clean now. We can see this one with the total numerical entries. And the next one we have is with top speed. This top speed column now we need to clean. The previous one I have shared in the snippet. And I'll just look forward for your responses for this top speed column. Everyone just try to take part in this. Just be responsive in chat. You have all the codes in your hand. You just need to make a very small effort. It is not like doing a very big task. You have the code in hand. Just a very small change you have to make and it will be all ready. Just give it a try. I'll be waiting for responses. Currently, just one student I can see who is participating. I'll wait for others also. Okay, so one update I can see from Sarthak again. That's great. But before running this, I'll look forward for other updates also. At least some of you should share your code. Sarthak has already shared, and I think this is very fine. This will work right. But I'll just wait a few minutes more for others' code also. If anyone else is doing, they can just update their code here in the chat.
Uday, unmute yourself. Uday. Uday, are you able to listen? Tushar. Sumit. Sanjana.
Yes, sir.
Are you working?
Yes, sir.
So can you share your code?
Yes, ma'am. I will.
Just share your code in the chat. I'll wait for your response. Students, see, even if you are taking time to create it, there's no problem. At least respond us in chat that you need more time. I'll wait. We are here to learn. That is the only objective. There is no competition. There is nothing like we have to do a very hard and fast rule that it should be an immediate response. If it is taking time, that's okay. You are at least trying. That is more important. Just put me in the chat that wait for us and we are trying it. What else a teacher need? That is the only thing we need. Okay, great. I could see one response from Divanshu also. So thank you very much for updating it, Divanshu. Anyone else who wants to respond? I'll still wait. If anyone else is interested to respond. I should share one amazing experience with you people because I have taught data science to people who know nothing about coding and they are not even from the engineering background. Still, I have taught them and they have responded very well. They have learned every step very well. So it is just about trying, implementing, even making errors. Try to make errors time and again. Ask me that we are getting this error. I'm here to solve that. But just try. Because data science is most flourishing branch these days, irrespective of which domain you have. Every day I get calls from people that we are in some non-technical domain and we want to switch to data science. So I just guide them, I help them that how they can switch to data science because this is one of the flourishing career these days. You get highly paid in this area, you get great jobs, even work from home opportunities. So this is one of the most interesting thing to learn. And that is why we are working on this right now, because you are in first year and if you get your interest in data science, this can take you a long way forward. Okay, so I'll just pick answer from one of these. Dipanshu and Sarthak have shared their code and I cannot see any more responses in the chat. So I'm just testing it here. What we have is, first we have the empty list, then we have updated the for loop, and then the replacement we have made. See, Dipanshu, one more thing you may have to do is, we also have a small space in between. So it is better to remove that also, although it may not interfere also later on, but it is better to remove it in the beginning. So I'm just adding a small space here before this kilometer. And remaining all things look fine. So let us see. And yes, one more thing we have here is this data. This last line you need to put on the same level where we have this for loop. Then only it will get updated. Otherwise, it will become part of your for loop, but we need it outside your for loop. Remaining all things look fine. So let us see if we get it done. So this is your variable that we are dealing with, and this looks fine. We got the green tick. So let me test it with the remaining data, if we could clean it or not. So this looks fine. Top speed is also a finely clean variable. We can see it with all numerical values. And now, of course, as you all know, the next task you have with the acceleration variable. I'm sharing this top speed code in the chat window. And in your snippet, you can find it. And then you can just try it with different variable. That is, we have the acceleration next to this. So I'll just wait for your responses in the chat again. I'll wait for a few minutes. for your codes. And I just expect that not just one student, but multiple students are working on this and they'll share. I got one response from Divanshu, and this looks great. Dipanshu, I think your code is right. I'll be waiting for more responses in the meanwhile. Just give it a try, everyone. Data science is more like a game. You are just playing with the data. That is all you have to do. Thanks for the update, Sarthak. Your code also looks fine. So someone else who is interested to share, I'll be waiting. Or you can just post me in the chat that I need to wait for you so that I can just see for your code. I'll just wait for it. Even if it is taking time, just update me. Okay, great, Gurjit. I'll be waiting for your code. Everyone else, just participate in this. This is just the last column we are cleaning now. After this, we have only subtitle. So second last we are cleaning, and just try to participate in this. Anyone else who is interested to respond? Okay, great. Gurjit, your answer also looks fine. I think one space adjustment we need in this, but otherwise it looks fine. Well done. You have done it well. And let me just test this code. I'm taking your code only, Gurjit, so that we can just make it free from error if there are some errors. So let me just post it here first of all. So first we'll observe what we have here. First, you have created an empty variable that looks fine. Then we have the for loop. We have the variable item here, and then we are iterating through this exclamation column. So can you just check what error you may have in this line? I think you can easily recognize it. This may be even a typo. Maybe you are not doing this intentionally. This may be a typo. What error you have in this line, if you can recognize, if anyone else can recognize. Yes, we have one error of these quotation marks. So thanks for the update in chat. We just need to remove this. This was additional. We just need quotation marks inside this. And after this, we are updating your list. That is fine. And here also we have your int update, and then we are replacing these values. So here we have the second. And also maybe one more thing that we can see in this variable, that these entries are in the form of float by default. We can see some float entries by default. Earlier, they were total integer entries, or maybe we have missed some, we can see. No, all of them were integer entries. Only this exclamation is a float entry, we can see. So in here also, in subtitle also, you will see float entries. These are mixture. We can have float entries here also. So one change we can make in this code is, instead of restricting it to be an int, we can restrict it to be a float. so that we can see this after decimal positions also in your data. These kind of small adjustments you can make in your code. And then the second variable, I'm just adding a small space here because we have some small space after this 2.8 here. And then we can replace it with the empty thing. And ultimately we can update our data variable, and this should be outside your for loop. And this should work fine now. So everyone else, just update me in chat box if this code looks fine now. And it should work. If there should be an error, then also let me know if there will be an error. Gurjit, I hope you have also got the point that what small changes you could have made in this code to make it work. Okay, great. So let us test if it is working fine or not. Let me run this, and we could get the green mark. So I hope this is working fine, and let us test it on your data. So this looks good. We can have the float values with a clean data. We have removed the object entries. And now we are left with this variable, that is your subtitle variable. This one again is a name variable that we may not need to clean right now because name variables are generally not required for any kind of analysis. So we will drop this later on if needed. Then subtitle is your last column that we need to clean now. And first of all, let us see what we have, because this is one complicated column. You have so many things inside. So what you need to clean, first of all, let us see. Although we have seen that on the top as well. So we have it with subtitle column. And what we need to check is, maybe we can just see the value counts of this particular column to be clear with how it is distributed. There are many other ways also to do this, but I'm just using one technique here. And you can see what we need to remove is, everyone see this carefully because you will be doing this task. So just execute this code first of all. I'm sharing this in the chat as well. And then you have to clean two things. First is from here to here. Just select it from here to here. This is common in all variables. So the space up to the number, as well as this text, as well as the symbol that we have in between. This entire thing you can clean in one go. This will be your first replacement item, and then this will be your second replacement item. Two things you have to replace. First will range from here to here. You can just copy and put the same in the code, and then you can copy this part and put this in code. So this should work. Give it a try. If you are stuck anywhere, I'll be helping you. Just try to clean your subtitle column by following this approach, and it will be having two items to clean. You can follow the code that we have used already for two items, or I can just side by side display it here as well. So this one was the code for replacing two items. One after another, you can apply replace function, and remaining things you know already. So I'll be waiting for your update in the chat again for the subtitle column. The task is for cleaning subtitle column now. You can also use it with float category because this contains mixture of int and float values. So better to have float function. Take your time and then share your code in chat. Sarthak, we are looking for the code in subtitle column. I think you have shared some old code by mistake. We need it for subtitle column right now. Yes, this looks fine, but I think you have replaced only one thing by now. We need two things to replace. Okay, let me explain it again, as you may be confused that what we need to replace in this column. So check this. I have just recently executed this code. Just execute this same code. It will tell you what you have to replace because you get this format instantly. So there are two portions to replace. Everyone say this carefully. First, you have to select it from here to here, up to this number. Means along with the space, along with that slash, along with the string value. Everything you have to pick from here. And this entire thing you have to replace with the empty thing so that it just gets removed. Second thing you have to replace is after the number, you have symbol along with the tiny space. This is the second thing you have to replace. Make sure you replace two things. In one, you have to just put this entire, and in one, you have to put this one, the small part. I hope I'm clear now. Take your time, and if you still find anything confusing, just let me know. Drop a message in chat. I'll explain again. Don't worry to ask again. Okay, I can see one response from Sarthak. So this looks good, Sarthak. I think your code is right. I'll just wait for a few more responses. I can see one more update from Dipanshu. This looks good, Dipanshu. I think you have done it right. So thanks for the update. Few more people, I will be waiting for your responses. Then I'll be executing it. Just be quick in the chat. If I need to wait for anyone, they can also let me know in chat that I have to wait for a few minutes. Okay, you say that your code is not copied properly, so maybe a difference in spaces, no problem. I'll see that. Please update me in the chat if I need to wait for anyone else. I could get 2 responses by now only for this subtitle column. Just let me know if I need to wait for anyone else who is implementing this one. No one is working? Okay, let me test the codes that we have received. I'm picking up one from, I have Dipanshu's code here. And I think Sarthak's code is also fine. So both are good. So let me just pick one of these. And this looks fine, I think. We have the subtitle column and then we have the sequence. So the space is also fine, Sarthak. This is working fine. And then we have the second replacement, and then we have updated the sequence. So this must be fine. Let us run this code and we can see the outcome. So we got the green tick again, and this should be working fine on your data as well. Checking your data head again. And your subtitle column is also fine now. So this looks interesting now. We have the clean, almost clean data set. Most of the variables here are in the clean format, and we can get it in a pure numerical form, except 2 columns. One is name, which is just the name of the vehicle, which will not be required for any kind of processing further. And second we have is your drive type. So this thing we can later on convert in the form of a specific technique in between, because this is a purely categorical column. Total object values we have, the mixture we have removed by now. So after executing this, there is one more thing, one more technique we can learn here. See, everyone observe it carefully. This subtitle column, this one, this was basically the battery capacity of your electric vehicles. But they have not given a proper title to this here, because they have written that in this description within every column. So this was mainly the battery capacity of every vehicle. So let us try to be more precise with this column name. And this thing you can try with any other data set also. If you find that this column name is not suitable and we need more precise name, we can just rename it. So let us try this one thing. I'll just create one task here, rename one column, and which column we are using for this is subtitle column. So let us see how we can rename a column. So for this, I'll be just picking up this rename function, which is already available in your Python platform. And inside this, first of all, we need to define the columns that we need to replace. And for instance, I have one column, which is subtitles. So I need to write it in the same format as it is here. Subtitle with S capital and remaining all small. Subtitle I have selected, and I'll be using, we can use a dictionary sequence for this. Dictionaries we have learned already. So we can use it with the curly braces over here, and dictionaries have your key pair values. So that will be automatically replaced. So here we have, for example, battery capacity. I'm replacing subtitle with the battery capacity here, and this rename should work on your data. And let us see what we get in the output. So I'm just running this code, and we can see your subtitle column is now replaced with battery capacity. So let me just share this small set of code again with the snipper, and you can clean this column easily. Just quickly update me in the chat box if we are all on the same page and you are able to clean your data set up to this level. Then we'll proceed further. Okay, great. Thanks for your update. Anyone else interested to update? If anyone has any doubt about the process in between, they can also let me know. Students, just update me in the chat box if you are all understanding up to this point or not. If there is any confusion, that also you can update in the chat box. Just quickly update me if we are all clear up to this point. Okay, thanks for the update. Anyone else who is interested to respond? Great. Okay, great. I can see some responses now. And now, because we have updated majority of the columns in your data set, and now if you want to see the data set info, let us see what we get in the info now. Earlier, we have seen that we were having some object entries, or we can say like majority of these were object entries, but let us see what we get now. So if we try data.info, so this looks great. Just name and drive, two things are now in the object category, and remaining all we can see within your numerics, either int or float. So this is one level of data cleaning we have achieved now, and this is one of the most interesting tasks you have learned today, because this is whenever you are going ahead with a new data set, you have to clean it. You have to remove the unwanted symbols out of it. You need numbers only. And then you have to treat those numbers further in the second level. So the first level of cleaning we have done. And definitely we are going to continue this project further with, this is not all about the project. We have just used it for the cleaning. That is one part. And still we are left with two things. That is your drive column here. And one more we have is your name. We have to deal with these columns still. All others we have converted well. But before cleaning them, there will be one more important part we'll be learning with this same data set. That will be plotting task. Yesterday, we have designed some different types of plots, and we'll learn more of that kind of plots with this data set further. So that will be like a full-fledged project we are learning right now. First stage cleaning, and then we have data exploration. And in data exploration, we'll be plotting different things. Like we'll just see relationship between these different variables. We will just try to create some bar charts. We'll just try to create some pie charts. There may be different kinds of plots that we can create from this particular data. And after creating different types of plots, we will do one more thing. That will be to convert this particular drive column into numerics. And for that, we will learn a new technique that will be encoding technique. So that will be again one interesting thing. So with that encoding technique, you will understand that when you have a purely categorical column in your data, how you convert that into some numbers. That is another interesting thing to do in your data science. So we have just taken it up to one level right now with the cleaning process. And as I told you in the beginning that before closing the session, we'll be conducting one live quiz. So you all need to take part in this. As I can see right now, we have, okay, I can see the count of the participants. So all of you need to participate in a game that is a kind of quiz, but it is not like you will be given some marks or something. Just consider it like a game. We are going to play it based on whatever you have learned in previous 2 sessions. So that will be just basics of Python. and very simple questions, like a beginner-friendly question series we'll have. I'll tell you how I'll work on this. So here we have a quiz platform, and I'm just starting a quiz. This quiz basically contains 10 questions, and you will get it on your screen directly. How you will get on your screen? There are two options. Either you can just go to this link that I have shared in the chat right now. You can go to this link and enter this joining code. Everyone need to participate in this. This is an amazing game you have to play. So first you have to enter into this link, and then you can enter this joining code. Or if you have your mobile phones with you, you can just scan the QR code in front of your screen right now. You can just scan this QR code with your camera or your scanner in your phone, and you can join the session. I'll wait for all the candidates. Currently, I can see only one person has joined. And I'll also get names of everyone who are putting their efforts in this. So the names will be saved with us, that whoever have responded in this quiz. So just try to enjoy this game. This is basically a game. So don't worry that you are being tested for anything. Just try to enjoy this game. We can consider it like a refreshing session by the end of your this 2-hour class. So just try to scan this code, and I see all your responses side by side. 2 people have joined by now. I'll be waiting for all of you. Okay, I'll be sharing the link for everyone. Just a minute. I'm using it here. And this is the code, and the link also I'm sharing for everyone. So the code as well as link I have shared in the chat for everyone. Either you can scan here, or you can take part from the link that I have shared, and you can just enter the game code in that. Nine people have joined by now. We need more responses. 10, 11, 12. You can attempt it from your mobile phone as well as from your computer. Both options are there. With link, you can use it on your computer. With mobile, you can even scan your code. Both options will work with you. Twelve members have joined by now, and I can see there are few more participants in the session. So I'll be waiting for more. If anyone is stuck anywhere, they can also let me know in the chat that I need to wait for them. "13, I can see. 14. So I think this much strength we have. So 14 members have joined now. And let me start the quiz. So I think we can begin with it. So the questions will be on your screen. And here on my screen, you can just see the leaderboard. So whatever you are attempting, we can see the leaderboard over here. So the game is ready now, and you can attempt it from your screen. There will be multiple choice questions. Start, everyone. Everyone just try attempting it, right, wrong. That will be a second thing, but at least try attempting everything. There are very basic questions. You can do it easily. Vardhan, you should also attempt other questions. You are just lost in one questions only. Just try attempting further. I'll be waiting for a few more minutes. Okay, so I'll be closing the quiz now because I think most of you have now taken part in it. Okay, so I have stopped it by now and so we can see the results on screen. And we can also see how we have gone with the different questions out there. So let me just take you to the next page over here. And okay, so I can see that there are some questions that many of you found difficult, or maybe you have not even attempted several questions. So we can just see that. Let me just check. The first question, we can see majority of you have given correct answer. Then we have it with operators. So I think you should not get confused with the operators. Operators are very simple to use. When we call a comparison operator, so when we have to compare two values, you work with two equal to. When we have single equal to, that works with your simple assignment operator. For comparing two values, we have double equal to. And similarly, majority of answers we can see in this also. Print 3 plus 4. So when you have print 3 plus 4, so you can just remember what we did in first class. There we have worked on these kind of things. You can just have a quick operation within the print statement also. So accordingly, you will get the answer of this equation in the output. And similarly, we can have it for data types also here. So true and false basically belongs to Boolean data type that we call bool. Boolean or bool is the same thing. And also some people are also confused with the tuples. So the definitions of tuples we have discussed. I have told you that they are ordered pair and they cannot have your duplicate elements. So these all the definitions we have seen very precisely during the first session. So you should just recall your first session. I have also shared the sheet of that. So you can use it from there. And then you can see the last one, this data type. Okay, this one is also looking confusing to many of you. So this is precisely a string. You can identify it from these quotation marks in both sides. So this will precisely be a string over here. Just try to practice it more, students. You are on the right track and you can definitely do it very well. And this is good that you have attempted it. Right or wrong, that is the second thing. Just give it a try and we are just learning different things from here. So we are just stopping it here now. We have done it up to one level and we'll continue with this analysis further in tomorrow's session. We'll just complete this project by plotting different variables out of it. We'll just try to see relationship between different variables from here. We'll create different types of plots. So you will learn the second level of analysis on the same data set tomorrow. So just give me quick updates in the chat. If this session was interesting, if you have learned new things, any feedback you have for the session. Okay, Atul, we could benefit from more such games. That's good. So we can just have analysis of by the end of our class every day. So whatever we are learning in the class, based on this only, we'll having some small game by the end. Yes, definitely we'll have a quiz every day. So don't worry about that. Just try to be active in the class. Then only I'll just learn that how it is working, if you are learning things or not. And if I need to make some improvement also in the sessions, that also I'll know only after your responses. So that looks great. If any other responses, any other feedbacks we have in the chat, you can update or even you can unmute yourself and you can discuss if you have any